Imagine Berlin, once a grand and lively city in Europe. After World War II, it became a symbol of division. In 1961, the Berlin Wall was built, splitting the city in two. It separated families, friends, even people in love. This wall, made of concrete and barbed wire, with watchtowers and guards, was a harsh reminder of the fight between the East and the West. For almost 30 years, it represented a lack of freedom and the difficult reality of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall was more than just a wall. It represented oppression and the denial of basic human rights. People living in the West saw it as a reminder of the lack of freedom in the East. It became a place for protests, art, and sadly, a place where some lost their lives trying to escape. The East German government used the wall for propaganda, saying it protected them from the West. But really, it was meant to stop East Germans from fleeing to the West. The wall became a symbol of the failures of communism and a desperate attempt to hold on to power. The wall's construction changed Berlin. A once united city was now divided, each side shaped by different beliefs and ways of life. The wall's shadow fell not just on Berlin, but on the entire world. Life in East Berlin was very different from the freedom of the West. The communist government controlled everything: the economy, the media, even people's lives. People were constantly watched, their information was controlled, and they had limited chances to travel or express themselves. The desire for freedom and a better life was always present. East Berliners lived with the Stasi, the secret police, always watching. This group instilled fear and stopped people from speaking out. People didn't trust their neighbors, worried they might be informants. The Stasi's presence made people suspicious and stopped them from criticizing the government. Despite this, East Berliners resisted. Secret groups driven by a desire for freedom emerged. People risked their lives sharing banned books, organizing protests, and helping others escape to the West. The spirit of defiance, though hidden, never died. The difference between East and West Berlin was clear. West Berlin thrived with help from the West, while East Berlin struggled. Basic supplies were scarce and life was harder than in the West. This fueled anger and a desire for change. In the late 1980s, change was coming to Eastern Europe. Inspired by reforms in the Soviet Union, East Germans demanded change. Protests, small at first, grew larger and louder. The calls for freedom, democracy, and reunification couldn't be ignored. The Monday demonstrations in Leipzig were a turning point. These peaceful protests, held every week, attracted more and more people. The chant, "Wir sind das Volk," we are the people, became a call for change, not just in East Germany, but across Eastern Europe. As pressure grew, the East German government tried to calm the unrest with small reforms. But it was too little, too late. The desire for freedom was strong, and people wanted real change. The Berlin Wall, once a symbol of power, now showed weakness. Adding to the pressure were East Germans escaping to the West through Hungary and Czechoslovakia, taking advantage of relaxed borders there. This exodus weakened the East German government and showed how unsustainable the division was. On November 9th, 1989, the world watched in amazement as the Berlin Wall began to crumble. It was a night of confusion, joy, and disbelief. The East German government made a mistake, leading to an announcement that surprised everyone, even the guards at the wall. The gates were opened and history took an unexpected turn. Günter Schabowski, an East Berlin official, was announcing new, relaxed travel rules at a press conference. But he seemed unprepared and stumbled through the announcement. When asked when the rules would start, he hesitantly said, "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately, without delay." This unclear statement, broadcast live, created a chain reaction. East Germans, longing for freedom and encouraged by Schabowski's words, rushed to the wall, demanding to cross. Overwhelmed and unsure, the guards eventually gave in, opening the gates and allowing people to cross freely for the first time in decades. The scenes at the wall that night were pure joy and chaos. East and West Berliners hugged, cried tears of joy, and danced together on top of the wall. The fall of the Berlin Wall wasn't planned, but was a spontaneous outpouring of joy and a testament to the power of people united for freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall unleashed a wave of emotion and celebration not seen in Germany since the end of World War II. East and West Berliners, once separated by concrete and ideology, rushed towards each other, eager to reunite and celebrate their newfound freedom. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of joy, disbelief, and hope. The celebrations were spontaneous and heartfelt. People chipped away at the wall with hammers and chisels, taking home their own pieces of history. Others climbed on top, dancing and singing in a shared act of defiance and liberation. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of champagne glasses. The fall of the wall went beyond borders, capturing the world's imagination. Images of people celebrating on top of the wall, embracing through newly created openings, were broadcast globally. It was a powerful symbol of hope, a victory for freedom over oppression, and a testament to the human spirit's desire for unity. The celebrations spread beyond Berlin. People worldwide rejoiced, recognizing it as a pivotal moment in history. The fall of the Berlin Wall signaled the beginning of the end of the Cold War, a period marked by division, fear, and the threat of nuclear war. It was a moment to celebrate the triumph of hope over despair and the promise of a more peaceful future. The fall of the Berlin Wall led to German reunification, a complex process that officially happened on October 3, 1990. While many celebrated, it also presented big economic, social, and political challenges, bringing together two countries with very different systems and beliefs was a huge task. One immediate challenge was the economic difference between East and West Germany. The East German economy, weakened by inefficiency and years of underinvestment, struggled to keep up with the West. Reunification led to high unemployment in the East as many state-owned businesses closed. Social integration was also tough. Decades of living under different systems created cultural differences and misunderstandings. Many East Germans felt like second-class citizens in the newly united Germany, struggling to adapt to the capitalist system and facing prejudice from some in the West. Despite these challenges, Germany's reunification was a remarkable achievement. The country invested heavily in rebuilding the former East Germany, modernizing its infrastructure and creating new economic opportunities. Over time, the economic and social differences between East and West began to shrink. The Berlin Wall may be gone, but its impact continues to shape the world today. It reminds us of the human cost of division and the importance of freedom and unity. The events of November 9, 1989, taught the world valuable lessons about the power of peaceful protest, the fragility of freedom, and the enduring human spirit in the face of oppression. The fall of the Berlin Wall shows the power of ideas. It proves that even the toughest barriers, whether physical or ideological, can crumble when people are united in their will. It reminds us that the pursuit of freedom and democracy is a universal desire, worth fighting for and defending. The Berlin Wall also serves as a warning, a reminder that the freedoms we enjoy are not guaranteed. It highlights the importance of protecting democratic values and standing up against oppression wherever it exists. The lessons of the Berlin Wall are still relevant in a world dealing with division, conflict, and the suppression of human rights. The story of the Berlin Wall reminds us that history is not set in stone. It can change unexpectedly, driven by the actions of ordinary people who dream of a better future. The fall of the Berlin Wall teaches us that even in the darkest of times, hope can win, and change is always possible. The fall of the Berlin Wall had a huge impact that went far beyond Germany, speeding up the collapse of communism across Eastern Europe. Inspired by the events in Berlin, people in countries like Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia and Romania rose up to demand their own freedom and an end to Soviet control. The Soviet Union's power was crumbling and the Cold War was nearing its end. The fall of the Berlin Wall also changed the global balance of power. It marked the beginning of the end for the Soviet Union, which, weakened by internal struggles and economic problems, could no longer control Eastern Europe. The United States emerged from the Cold War as the world's most powerful country, leading to a new era in international relations. The events of November 9, 1989 also changed how we think about freedom and democracy. The image of the Berlin Wall crumbling became a powerful symbol of hope and inspiration for people fighting for freedom around the world. It showed that change is possible even when facing seemingly impossible odds. The fall of the Berlin Wall also showed how interconnected the world is. The events in Berlin weren't just a local or regional issue, they were a global event that captured the world's attention and showed the power of shared ideals and dreams. It reminded us that we are all connected and that the pursuit of freedom and democracy is a shared human goal. The fall of the Berlin Wall is a testament to the power of peaceful revolution. It reminds us that big change is possible without violence or bloodshed. The people of East Germany, through their courage, determination, and unwavering commitment to freedom, achieved a peaceful revolution that transformed their country and inspired the world. The events of November 9, 1989 teach us to never underestimate the power of hope. Even facing oppression, fear, and seemingly impossible obstacles, the human spirit's desire for freedom can win. The fall of the Berlin Wall is a beacon of hope, a reminder that positive change is always possible. As we remember the fall of the Berlin Wall, let's honor the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom and those who died trying to cross it. Let's also celebrate the courage of those who dared to dream of a better future and, through their actions, made that dream real. The legacy of the Berlin Wall reminds us that freedom is precious and fragile, something to be cherished, protected, and never taken for granted. It's a call to action, urging us to protect democratic values, promote human rights, and stand up against oppression everywhere. May the memory of the Berlin Wall continue to inspire future generations.